Hi, Novaya. I took a look at your homework from the last time and graded it and realized that suggesting that the problems were similar to the ones from the last homework weren't super helpful because you didn't get those. And you didn't ask about them in class, so I didn't realize you didn't get them until I looked at your homework. So I wanted to send you some suggestions and help you with these, okay? And if you don't have them, make sure that you ask me in class tomorrow before we get started. Okay. So the two things that are going to be useful when you're looking at problems where you're trying to figure out angles is one, two angles that make up a straight line. So if I have two angles, angle 1 and angle 2, such that when I put them together, meaning if I go from here to here, that's angle 1, and then from here to here, that's angle 2. So together, I'm going all the way over to a straight line. Right? Together they make this straight line. Well, a straight line is 180 degrees. So that tells me that angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 has to be 180 degrees. So anytime I'm looking at a figure, I can look for two angles, and typically they are an interior and an exterior angle together, typically form 180 degrees. I can use this to figure out my angles. The other thing that I can use is that the sum of the angles inside a triangle, so the three angles that make up my triangle, have to add to 180. So if I have any triangle, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, those three angles, their measures, have to add to 180 degrees. Oops. Okay. And if I'm working with a quadrilateral, which I am in C, for a quadrilateral, my angles have to add not to 180, but to 360. Okay. And every time you go up a side, so from 4 sides to 5 sides, I would add 180 degrees. So the ones on the last homework that were pentagons, the angles add to 540, right? Add another 180 to the 360 and you get 540, okay? So those are the things that we're going to be using here. So if I take a look at number 6, part A, I've got to find X and Y. So X is an interior angle of that triangle. So this angle, and this angle make up the three angles of my triangle. So I'm going to have to take 70 degrees plus 38 degrees plus my X, and that's got to equal 180 degrees, okay? In order to solve this, then I'm going to combine my like terms. So I'm going to put my 70 and my 38 together, and that's 108 degrees equals 180 degrees. And then I'm going to subtract that 180 from both sides. So I'm essentially doing a little algebra problem here. So if we do that, we end up that X has to be 72 degrees. Okay. Then if I take a look at angle Y, this one here, and this angle form a straight line. And so that tells me that Y plus the 38 degrees has to be a straight line or 180 degrees. And again, I can then subtract the 38 degrees from both sides and solve for Y. So Y in this case, it's going to be 142 degrees. If I did my subtraction right. If I didn't, check a calculator. Okay, and so that's how I can identify those angles. Same thing's going to be true in B. So in B, you're first going to set up angle N, and 68 degrees forms this straight line. And then once you found out what N equals, then you can use the triangle. So you've got angle N, the 32 degrees, and the P has to be 180 degrees. And that way, once you find N, you can substitute that in and find your P. And then you'll be able to use the fact that your P and your Q form this straight line over here. Okay, so you're going to be using the following three formulas. So you have N plus the 68 degrees has to be 180 degrees. Then your 32 plus N plus P, those are your three angles inside your triangle. So that's 180 degrees. And then P plus Q is also 180 degrees because those two together form a straight line. Okay, so you have two straight lines and then your interior triangles. In order to get these, you have to do them in order. So you're going to have to solve for n and then plug that in here. That's going to help you solve for p. Once you know p, you can plug that in here and solve for q. Okay. And lastly, when you're finding r and s in this last one, first thing we need to note that this little box in the corner means that that's 90 degrees. So we're going to do two things. We're going to look at s first. So angle s and this 105 degrees makes a straight line. So you're going to have s plus 105 is your 180. Then to get r, we're going to look at the interior of our quadrilateral this time. So when we look at the angles of our quadrilateral, we're talking about this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay. And when you add those four up, so 100, 90, r, and s, you should get 360 degrees. Right? Once you find s from here, you can plug it into here, and that will allow you to solve for r. Okay, so that's kind of how this goes. Okay, so hopefully that's a little more helpful, and if not, definitely ask me at the beginning of the class tomorrow.